Ah, good to see you again. Take 3. Eleanor's been in a playful mood today and keeps jumping onto the camera stand and knocking it over. We'll see if he'll behave. Oh, I doubt it. Darling kitten. Always so curious about what I'm doing. Aren't you, Eleanor? Alright. For any of you first time watching, Eleanor is my cat. He's rambunctious. So this is the third time starting this video. Waiting to see if I have to start over again. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm going to talk about all kinds of things today. Allowing, time, energy, how it serves you, how it mirrors, how it reflects you, how it comes to you. All fun, enjoyable things. All right. I've drawn it here, a lovely little arrow, because I want to talk about time. Ooh, time. A beautiful thing. Not a very real thing. It's a half-truth at best, meaning it's true some of the times, but it's not true all the time. The way most people see time is here you have the past, here you have the future, and here in the center you have the now. The now moment. People love to talk about the now moment. Interesting thing. And people think you travel through time. But as I've said before, you don't travel through time. Time travels through you. Energy travels through you. It's an illusion that you get up and walk out of a room. No, you never went anywhere. You don't have to. It's kind of your divineness. It comes to you. That's the true beauty of things. It comes to you. Once you become, we're talking about, because when you get to this part of your journey, of your evolution as a soul being, that's when you start experiencing it comes to you. Well, we'll get there. But this is how people see time. They travel through it, from the past to the present to the future. And if you're in the present, in the now, this is your past, this is what happened. And you kind of have an idea of what's going to happen in the future, but you really never know. But you move through it. The past is locked. The past is what happened. But I disagree. Because this isn't how time works. Time isn't a linear thing. It doesn't go like that. It's like this. You can say that's the future, that's the past, and here there's the now. But it's all simultaneous. It's not moving this way. It's all coexisting at the same time. So the now is the future. Is the now. The past is the now. People always talk about trying to be in the now moment. If you're daydreaming about the future, you're in the now. If you're daydreaming or going back into the past, you're still in the now. Because that's all that exists, is now. Yesterday is now. 1,000 years ago is now. 1,000 years in the future is now. That's an important thing to... I tell you things not so you think about them. Because these are not teachings. Absolutely not. In the sense, because teachings is how humans learn things on this planet, is memorization of information, of data. Sacred teachings were never meant to be memorized. A lot of times they were never even written down in books. It was passed on by one teacher to a student, and when that student became a teacher, it's passed on to the next student. It was passed verbally. Because as soon as you write things down in a book, it can cause trouble. You don't have to look too far to see what I'm talking about on that. Because things get structured. As I said, well, let's go back to the past. This past becomes, people see it as locked in place, solid, like concrete, when it's not. It's fluid. The future is fluid as well, because what could happen tomorrow? Oh, many things. But that's easier for people to be okay with. Well, they're usually okay with a very limited fluidity. And even in the past, not so much. They like to lock things down. How many people carry around the Bible and say, this is the truth, the only truth, the holy truth? If it's not written here, it's not true. It's a limitation. It brings you down to a limitation. First of all, it was written 2,000 years ago. The consciousness on this planet was what, here? Now it's here. So the understanding of things have changed. The awareness of things have changed. And it's very outdated. Well, we could go down lots of rabbit holes. We're not today. Rabbit holes are an interesting thing. We'll get there. So what I want to say, everything is now, and everything is fluid. Since the past is now, and the future is now, and the present moment is now, everything is fluid. Because usually your awareness is here in the present moment. It's always moving, changing, isn't it? It's the same thing with the past. The past is always in movement, always in change, in growth. Because as I've said before, energy follows consciousness. Creation follows consciousness. What is consciousness always doing? People have been talking about it for a long time. They've always said consciousness is growth, in movement, in change. What are you meowing at? I see nothing there. Unless we have visitors that I can't see. Oh, silly kid. I love it. But energy follows consciousness. And consciousness is always in growth, always in expansion, always in change. Since consciousness always changes, that means everything is in growth and in change. That includes the past, includes the future, and that includes the present moment. Everything is in change, in evolution. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. As soon as you unlock it. Because the thing is, you believe the past is solid. Now, here's the problem. You're going to try to change your beliefs. Okay, you're going to get mental about things and try to change. Just realize, okay, the past is fluid. You don't have to understand how it works or why it works or any of those things. You just breathe into it. Allow that energy to be. Because if you're trying to make the past fluid, you're just going to lock it up more. It's kind of the beauty of things. Because friction gets back friction. And trying is a friction. At some point, you will still try to do things, but you won't call it that anymore. Or you can say, I'm trying to do this, but you won't mean it in the way that other humans say. I can say, all right, now I'm trying to make a video. But I know for myself, I don't mean I'm putting friction into it. I mean, I'm just allowing myself to make a video, to have the experience of making the video. You don't have to get so caught up on the words at times. Because that's where a lot of people get very mental. Oh, I said trying today. Oh my God, I did it wrong. No. Remember, you just get back into that mind game with yourself. So it's okay if you say, I'm trying to clean up. I'm going to try and clean up the house tomorrow. That's fine. Just realize, oh no, tomorrow, yeah, I'm just going to clean the house up. I'm going to go have that experience. That's all it means. You kind of change what it means. You don't try anymore. You don't meditate anymore. You just take a deep breath every once in a while. Because meditation is a practice. It's a structure. It's trying. It has a friction to it. You will never bring anything back from that meditation because it's always going to have that friction in it. It's when you just say, okay, I don't meditate anymore. Every once in a while, I just breathe. Maybe like me in the morning, I like to sit out on the porch, in my porch swing, and just take some breaths. I'm just breathing. I'm not meditating. You can say, oh, you're just calling it. No, it is something different. Because I'm just allowing. That's what I do. And allowing, here we're going to get to the fun stuff, isn't a practice. Allowing isn't anything really. Allowing is the passion of the master. To allow. First you're going to allow your enlightenment. Allow that realization. Then you allow that remembrance of yourself. You allow the light body. You will allow your wisdom, your Nost. You allow yourself to be an embodied master, to bring the soul back into the experience of this reality. Instead of keeping it off over there. Now, it's really not over there because, as we talked about before, just like time is an illusion, or a real illusion, because it's real to a certain degree, then it just isn't true anymore. It's a limited truth, a half-truth. But time is the same way. It's a half-truth. Or space, space, 3D-ness, movement, motion. It's a half-truth as well. It's not really true. It's true that the experience is real, but time and space itself isn't real. It's an illusion. It's a creation. So, the past is malleable. It changes. It unfolds. It can, I guess you could say, some people see it in the, what do y'all call it? The Mandela effect, I think. I'm not an expert. I've not researched it or anything. But I believe it's, you think where people have memories of something happening. I believe it was Mandela. Am I saying his name correctly? I apologize if I'm not. But I believe he died in prison. Some people say he became the president of South Africa. People have different memories. It's interesting. I remember him being president. I don't remember him dying, but some do. Yeah. They pop on YouTube every once in a while. Then I've watched a video. What was the other one of the other ones? Oh, the Fruit of the Loom emblem had the horn of plenty in it. They showed up. Oh yeah, I remember that. I had Fruit of the Looms as a kid, and I remember having that on my underwear. Oh, what did it exist? It never happened. It wasn't ever there. Maybe it was. Maybe the past is fluid. It's not to think about it and try and figure it out, because that will drive you crazy. I mean that to some degrees, literally. It can. There's people in the mental institution who have opened up to this when they're not ready for it. And that was by design of their lives. They chose that, to have that experience. Nothing wrong with it. Everybody's probably had a life of being crazy at some point. Oh, some people think it's this one for me. Oh, whatever floats your boat. But time isn't solid. It isn't stuck. It doesn't. Something happened. And people are going to fight. You're going to fight this for a degree because if your past isn't what you think it is, because it changes as you go. And I don't mean it goes away. You bring wisdom to it, and it changes. What you thought happened isn't actually what happened. It's not about going back and trying to rewrite history. It's going back and seeing it from a multitude of perspectives. Having wisdom, having Nost. And that changes the past. It frees it. Once you free it, it can change. It can dissolve in a way and come back out of that stuckness and return back into its natural way of being, which is always in expansion, always in change. You just have to allow that to happen. You can't make it happen. Like I said before, trying. Well, trying won't get you anywhere. Trying is friction. You're trying to manipulate, force, use power and control. You're going to get that same energy coming back to you. And you're just going to get friction, friction, friction. As I will always say, there is no trying in enlightenment. There's allowing. Because I say the key to enlightenment, to having your realization that you already are enlightened, have always been, is to allow, to be aware, and to take a deep breath. These three things. There is no trying in these three things. You can't try to allow, because if you're trying, you're not allowing. You just allow. I'm allowing. There's no practice to it. There's no force to it. It's just there. It's an opening. Not a closing off energy. You get that opening energy, what do you get back? Opening. It's quite simple. It's basic metaphysics. You get what you receive, what you give. What you put out, you get back. I think it's been understood for a long time in spiritual communities, but no one's really taken it to its full understanding. It's simple. If you put restriction, that's what you get back. Put friction, restriction, that's what you get back. If you put openness, what do you get back? More openness, more freedom of energies. That's allowed. And then you have to be aware. You can't make yourself aware. You already are aware. That's what you are. Your awareness itself. Your I am that I am. I exist. I am aware and I exist and I'm aware that I exist. You can't try to be aware. It's what you are. It's natural. Just be open. Let your awareness be open instead of being closed off into a focused, restricted view. Just take that deep breath, that life-expanding breath. Allow yourself to be open, to feel, to be, and to allow. And one of these aspects of yourself, doubt, fear, ambition, when these things, just allow them. Now, that doesn't mean to go and play with them. You're going to do that at times because there's a gravity that pulls you in. But once you become aware of that gravity, you just, I'm being pulled in. That's okay. I make the conscious choice, take a deep breath, and just allow. Be here. Be aware. You don't have to sit in it for a long period of time. You don't have to be like, oh, I have to force my. That's getting into force, into pushing. Go watch a movie, read a book, go for a walk, and just allow that energy to move. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. Choose that deep, lung expanding breath every once in a while. You don't have to get. That's trying to breathe. I think I've talked about it before, but the first time I tried to allow, that's what it was. It was very restricted. It wasn't very allowing. Oh, this is stupid. I like to say, when I started allowing, it was elegant and graceful. It wasn't. Nowhere close. So we have allowing. You can't try to allow. You can't try to be aware, because these are natural things. They're just, you can't try to be something you already are. Then there's breathing. You can't really try to breathe, as I'm talking about, because it becomes forceful. No, it's okay to go. Just be relaxed. Don't be. That's a lot of effort, and you can put that back. You don't have to take a deep breath and just don't have to sit there and do it for 20 minutes or anything. You just do it a few times. It's fine. Because at first, it will feel like you're trying to breathe. That's why I want to bring it up. It's not that you're trying. Because I had this problem. Because I was like, don't try. Don't be effort. Allow. And I was like, it feels like work. It feels like I gotta. Because you're in an energetic. You've created an energeticness of resistance against it. Because you've gone around your entire life shallow breathing, or maybe you have breathed in deeper. It's been get down. We're not starting the video over again, baby. Okay, you have this energetic gravity you've created for shallow breathing. Unless I was going to talk about you've done it with meditation. But meditation is a structure. It's a rigidness to it. It's like putting yourself in one box into just a slightly bigger box. That's why I'm not a fan of it. And the point is to get rid of the box. As long as you have structure to it, as long as you have a system, a practice, you're gritting things out, you're making a list, you're checking it twice at times, you're planning things all the time. That structure, that puts things in a limitation. Because that's the energy you put out, that's what you get back. You put the box energy out there, what are you going to get back? You're going to put yourself right back into the box. It's quite simple. That's why you want that openness, that allowing, that non-effortness, no friction. Or at least at first, as little friction as possible. But then the problem is, I'm going to tell you that you're going to try to take all the friction out. That's just going to put more friction. Damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing you feel like at times when I'm talking about this. But the thing is, you allow. Let's go back to our drawing. I tell you to assume that you're already enlightened. Well, you already are, but you just haven't assumed it. You haven't taken it like that. Why? Okay. Well, look at time. Again, you assume that you're already enlightened. That enlightenment comes into being in the future. That potential is there. You're standing here and you want to get there. And here's your past. So you're assuming that you're already realized and that it is unfolding because the energies start to come in to support this potential. They come into the present from the future. But then we can turn that around. It's all now. Because you already are enlightened, but you're just letting it unfold in the present moment. You're letting a story play out to give you an experience of what it was to become enlightened. Because you already are, but now you get to have the experience of what it was like to become enlightened. And that is a very enlightening experience, filled with juicy, beautiful, luscious wisdom. Because what is wisdom? Wisdom is experience distilled down into just wisdom. It takes all the garbage out of the experience, all the data, all the structure, all that limitations, and brings it into wisdom. It's kind of what the experience of going through enlightenment gives you. Wisdom. The unfolding. So you just assume, and then it is so. Because it's right now. You think you're assuming it's going to happen to you in the future, but it's now. Everything is now. The energies just come in and they support. It comes to you. You attract, you assume, and that energy comes in attracted by that. Then you just allow it. You stay open. Keep yourself from going back into the box. Instead, you expand from the box. And you expand even more. Past, the future, everything comes into now. The past changes because even the energies coming here, they're also coming from the past. Everything is meeting in the center. I don't know how much I want to talk about that, but it's interesting. So that's what you're doing when you're allowing. I kind of want to give you a little bit of understanding of it, but I don't want you to take it up here. I want you to feel into it. Because as soon as you take it in here and start to structure it, it just puts you back in that box, in that trap, that prison cell. So allowing is the key. It is the passion of the master. That's what makes a master, allowing. Just being open. Like I said before, allowing doesn't mean you can't make choices. You can make the choice to do anything you want. Like that's why I don't want people to get, I can't leave my job, I have to stay in this horrible relationship, or whatever it is for you, because someone told me I have to allow. You do not have to allow other people. That's their own bullshit. That's another little secret. Other people's things are not yours, unless you take them on as yours. And I don't suggest you do that. It's a lot of pain and suffering and effort. They can take care of themselves. It's not your job to save the world, because all is well in all of creation. Everything is as it should be. I know a lot of people would like to fight me on that. I didn't say everything was preferable. I didn't think everything was enjoyable or as peaceful as it could be. I did not. I just said everything's as it should be for this moment. But also everything isn't frozen. Everything is in change. Everything is in evolution, in growth. So what is today isn't going to be tomorrow. It's energy playing out a story. And there's lots of stories on this planet. You can choose what story you want to experience. If you want to experience conspiracy theories, go right ahead. Won't get you anywhere. It's just a dog chasing its own tail. Because let's just look at the energy I just talked about. Say what to talk about. What's one popular one now is the QAnon. I don't know too much about it. I'm not a conspiracy person. But if you assume whatever QAnon believes, we'll make it a Q. is real, that's what you create. That's the energy you attract to you, into your creation. Doesn't mean it's real. It just means that's the energy you'll attract. You'll find, because if you look, like, I was very curious about curious theories for a while because I was trying to understand them, and I felt into them. I didn't really get caught into them. I fell into them because I was curious what they were about, how they were working, the energies of them. And what I just, Eleanor, get down, baby kitty. You are incorrigible tonight, aren't you? Little. You get that off your bed? No. All right. Because if you put on whatever it is, you have QAnon, but you have from when I was a kid, the big one was always like John F. Kennedy. Who killed Kennedy? Always still popular. People are still chasing their own tail on that. It ends up being you create it. How many books have been written on the death of John F. Kennedy? And how many of these books have said different things? Had compelling evidence over and over and over again that never leads anywhere. Oh, this book or documentary or whoever will say it was the CIA. This one will say it was LBJ. This one says it was the mafia. This one says it was the Cubans, the Russians, whatever. Space aliens. You create your own reality. If you go and seek that information out, what happens is synchronicities will come up to you. Happenstance will happen. You can change the past. It won't make it real because you have to have this reality is a group reality. It's a community reality. It is a community agreement. So you have to have a certain percentage of the population believe something before it's actually solid and real. But you can make it, things will come up to make it seem real, appear real. Synchronicity. Oh, Oswald worked for this person at this place, and this guy was his boss, and he worked for the CIA at this year, and that guy worked, his next door neighbor was the guy, blah, 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 worked at NASA or whatever. It's just a synchronicity that you've created because you're seeking it. And therefore it came into your reality so you could have that experience. That it was the CIA that killed Kennedy. For someone who believes that reality is real to them. Is it not? They'll fight you tooth and nail over it. They won't listen to anything. They'll say, oh no, I have evidence. Look at all this data. The past is malleable. You can change it. You can create that. It will just come into being. It doesn't matter if it actually happened. It's fluid. Conspiracy theories are just a dog chasing its own damn tail. And they're seeking the truth. Is usually what conspiracy. So if you put that seeking the truth energy into that vortex, what are you going to get back? It's going to come back to you seeking truth. You're not really looking. You're not going to find truth because you're putting out. I want to seek truth. So it'll just go around in a circle seeking truth. And when you get bored with one truth, it'll give you just a little tip. Oh no, look here. It'll get you another, around and around and around you go. Where you stop, nobody knows. It's fucking a waste of time. It's a goddamn waste of time. Conspiracy theories are a fucking waste of time. If you want to create that, if you want to create a reality where politicians eat babies in the basement of I forgot, some kind of restaurant. If you want that reality, go the fuck ahead. I won't stop you, but I will not join you. If that's the reality you want to live in, then you go ahead and create it. But take responsibility for it. It's not me. I'm not going to create that bullshit. That's all that fucking is. What you put out, you get back. If you want to go in the loop-de-loop roller coaster It can be fun. It can be really fun because, oh my goodness, I know the truth. I am a patriot. I am protecting everyone. I need to save everybody. That can be a very fun experience, a very dramatic, very important feeling experience. But it's just an experience. It's not true. And for a lot of younger souls, that's a great way of just getting through some experience without having to take the entire world into it. They try to at times, but they're having their own unique experience. There's a lot of those around. You'll see there's a lot of little micro realities. You can say UFOs, even spirituality has its own little micro realities that people have created. Where they get the channels they want. They get the information they put out. It causes a lot of, I guess I should probably throw these as boxes. They're little circles in a box. They're just these little small limited realities that don't really go anywhere. There's no truth in them. My suggestion is not to play with them, but you can do what you want. I'm not going to get on your message boards and tell you that you're a bad person for doing it. You're not. You're just having an experience. But if you want enlightenment, it's not the best thing to be doing. Because, I'd rather, if once you're aware that you're creating your own reality, what do you want to create? Do you want to create governments killing Kennedy, or politicians eating babies, or secret moon bases, or whatever the fuck people believe in today? FEMA's going to come in and kidnap everybody? I don't know what it is. They're quite silly to me. What do you want to create? Do you want to create that, or do you want to create the experience of your enlightenment, of your realization? That is, a choice that each individual has to make for themselves. There is no right or wrong answer. Absolutely. If you want to play with that stuff, I think it's crap. But if you enjoy it, it's for you. Just don't come bother me with it. Because I'll tell you to get stepping. What do you want to create? What do you want to allow? Because you're creating all the time. You are God also. You are creating your own individual reality. And right here, we'll say this is me. I'm creating my own. I just realized it looks kind of like a breast. We'll put a nose there just so it does. Oh, but we have to have a good laugh. Oh, I made myself laugh. I enjoyed it. This eye is your reality. That eye is my reality. I'm creating everything in my reality. This room, the walls, the stars, the cat, the trees outside. It's coming from me. And you're creating everything in your reality. Your reality is not my reality. My reality is not yours. You have your own individual sovereignty, as I have my own individual sovereignty. This is where people get confused. They think it's oneness. It's not. The oneness is within yourself. Oneness is found within you, not with other people. They have their own oneness. But it confuses beings because, say me and you are walking in the same woods. In my reality, I'd be creating me, I'd be looking at you, and I would be creating this tree. In your reality, you'd be creating the same tree, and you looking at me. But who is the you that's in my reality? The you that's in my reality is still me. Because there's nothing in my reality that isn't me. Now, we had an agreement that we would mirror each other's realities to a certain degree. There's always a little bit of difference. That we would create that so we could have this experience of me going over. If I went over to you and shook your hand, in actuality, I'm shaking my own hand, my own manifestation of you. This is what people talk about, say, in people who have had NEDs, near-death experiences. Oh, I saw the life through everybody else's eyes. No, you didn't. You saw it through all your own eyes. That's all you can see. You can only see yourself. When you're looking at me on this video, I'm you. Now, I'm not the experience that you're having. I don't want to put that. You're not actually me. But you're recreating me. Let's put it this way. Go back to the NEDs. When people say they have a near-death experience and they go to heaven and they meet God. They say God's just this unconditional love. That unconditional love that they feel is not anybody else's. It's theirs. If it was you had an NED, it was your love you felt. But you kept a separation from it because you didn't believe that you could be like that. But even if there was a God outside of you, and you felt that energy, that unconditional love, in your reality, everything is you. Even if you mirrored it, it's still yours. You can say this is how Jesus healed people. He looked into them. That's all he had to do. He looked into them. He shined his light of awareness into them. And they felt it. But they didn't feel Jesus because you can't feel Jesus. You can only feel yourself. He tricked them in a way to gave them that, what some of you call a permission slip, to let that light out. And then, of course, they saw it as something outside of them, when really, if you're creating everything in your reality, including the other people. But, and this gets very confusing to talk about. So I'm like, ooh, it's all these, you get very mental about it. I never really tried to plan it out how it works. I don't suggest you do it either. That's where you get in trouble, because you start making things into grids and things and trying to figure out how it all works. It gets mental and it puts you back in a box. Just feel into it. You're creating your own reality where you're at. And I'm creating my own reality, and then they're kind of mirroring each other back, this energy. I say I give out this energy of what I'm talking about, but then you recreate it. But the energy that you say, if you watch this video or somebody else, doesn't have to be me, but you felt, I felt your energy. It was so beautiful. No, you didn't. You felt your own energy. But having that other person play out that part for you kind of gave you permission to let it out. I don't know if this is making any sense. So I ask you to feel into it. It can get quite confusing, and even I feel myself going mental trying to explain it. So, not a very nice feeling. So I guess the video is about, what do you want to create? Do you want to create and allow your enlightenment? Or do you want to create garbage? The same garbage experience that you've been making over and over again. If you're still enjoying those, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Go play with conspiracy theories. Go play with politics. Go play with saving the whales, saving global warming, whatever it is. But remember, if you really believe that you are the creator of your reality, and you shine your light and you get back what you put out, If you go out to save the world, what do you get back? A world that needs to be saved. If you will just allow it to be what it is, allow the energies to naturally flow and move, it takes care of itself. It absolutely does. And that clues within yourself. It's not about fixing the human. There's nothing wrong with the human. You give yourself that unconditional, that compassion, that acceptance, and that gratitude, and you just allow. Allow yourself to be aware. And yes, you can make different choices and choose different things as you become aware. That's not about fixing the human. It takes care of itself. Trust me, if you asked me a few years ago, I've been hoping that was true. And having come to this experience, through this experience, this unfolding, to actually witness it, the effortlessness of how things begin to just dissolve, how the gravity that has always been there, that mental into the mind, starts to loosen up, starts to ease off. Oh, and you start to feel freedom for the first time. That is, it was worth all the shit that I had to go to get through. Damn sure. Given the choice, would I go through enlightenment again? No, I wouldn't need to, so I wouldn't do it. But still, at the same time, I'm glad I did. But it was a bitch at times. Because, there's the problem with going into enlightenment is all the good stuff is here. And you got to go through all that fucking noisy crap to get to it. All that confusion, all that old energy, all that. You have to allow all that bullshit. And it just it feels like at times you're not getting anywhere. Until suddenly, all of a sudden, you get to a point and it's like, mind is quieter. Oh, I don't feel myself being pulled into things. I can just laugh. Something dramatic happens. Something usually the old you would have called it bad, non-preferable. You just laugh your ass off about it because it's not serious anymore. You just it just doesn't matter. The freedom in that is beautiful. And it's scary too, for the human when you're first going into it. Because, like I said, freedom is scary. Because freedom is absolute or it's not at all. To have absolute freedom can scare the bejesus out of the human being as it goes into it. Interesting things that happen. Because then potentials open up. All these new potentials. Making YouTube videos. The old me would never have made these. Would have dreaded them. Would have hated them. Because there was fear. Fear of judgment. Well, they might not like my hair. It's alright today. I've lived my life with the curse of not having the best hair. Kind of actually like it now. I was like, you know what? I kind of like it. It's different. But yes, the ugliness, the crap you're gonna have to clear out. It's all over the place. It's chaotic feeling at times until you just get to this. Holy fuck! I can feel it finally. It finally feels like actual change. The gravity starts to loosen up. You start to that wisdom starts coming back. That knowingness comes back. It starts out little by little like a drip. It's like one day, I remember my first time I really noticed the Gnost in a different way. As I don't want to get into the story of what it was, but it was just, it was this really weird, I just had this feeling of drawing stuff. These symbols and stuff and filling it out. I was like, I didn't really know what it was, but it slowly began to expand and wow, I see all this. And this Gnost, this knowingness just started popping in, this wisdom of things. The laughter, not taking things so seriously. One of the best advice I was ever given was if you ever stump your toe, just laugh about it. Because you're going to stump your toe. Everybody stumps their toe. I stumped my toe earlier this evening. Just because you come enlightened doesn't mean you're not going to stump your toe every once in a while. But when it happens, just laugh the fuck about it. Make a conscious laugh. Just start there. If you're hammering a nail and you hit your finger, laugh about it. First you'll be like, oh God, they're like, oh yeah, I can just laugh about it. Because getting so serious about it isn't going to do anything. If it's broken, go to the hospital. If it's not, shake it off. Be a man about it. That's what us men do. You're like, oh, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. Oh, fuck, I don't. God, damn, that hurt. Have a good laugh about it. You get to the checkout at your local supermarket. You notice you forgot your wallet. Laugh about it. You can wait till you get the car so people don't think you're crazy if you want. Then you get to your car, you've got your wallet, then you get to the car, then you realize, oh, you locked the keys in the car. Laugh about it. Because laughter is a releasing. It is a beautiful way of releasing. No, I was told nothing releases energy as much as laughter. It is like super releasing. It just lets things go. Is that, or you're going to just get caught in the same energy in circles and circles again, and that's not fun. So laugh about it. Laugh about life. I know it's going to be hard, and at first, a lot of times, it's going to have that gravity pull you in. You're going to get all serious, all mental about it, and play out all the scenario to protect yourself. But as soon as you realize that's what you're doing, take that deep breath. Loosen up a bit. And just laugh. And if you can, laugh about it. That one might be hard at first. That took me quite a while. As I said, I was a grumpy puss for a long time. Sour puss, is that the right way to say it? It doesn't matter. Oh, it's been a long video. A lot of topics, a lot of different energies in it. So I'm going to call it an evening and say, have a great night. Or day, whatever it is for you.